And man, I'm excited today to be here. I'm excited to talk to the person that we'll be talking to today and get to learn about him because there's a very interesting story that I'll share later on. But yeah, guys, again, thank you everybody for being subscribing and just coming on the show to share your story because again, you're the guys who make Chicago Network and Chicago Cycling Scene a beautiful place to be. And we have amazing people here. And again, we're very helpful. We're like a family. I will just keep on going and just keep on interviewing like the people who make this thing work. Okay. Again, as I said before, you guys are welcome to come and share your story. It don't matter if you ride gravel, crit race, don't race. If you're on a bike, I want to talk to you. I want to learn about you. Chicago want to know about you because again, you can just be a motivation for somebody who's just been sitting there like, I want to get into biking, but I just didn't know. And they realize that, hey, you can be any size, shape, speed. If you want to get in a bike, you can get in a bike and you can have fun and you can find different people to bike with, different groups, anybody that you want to, get in touch with. We got critical mass. We got so many biking groups, guys who race, guys who are cat ones, guys who are cat threes. Myself, I'm a cat six. You guys know what that means already. So, but we're all here and we all make it work. Okay. We got older crowd, younger crowd, all sort of different people. We're all here and we make Chicago Cycling Scene. It's a beautiful place. Again, I have amazing people, and I know the person with today is one of those persons. And as we get into things, he truly, he probably don't know this because we're in the same cycling group, and I just got to learn about him and his name not too long ago. But he's truly an inspiration to me because I think on the bike, I'm like, I wish I could do that, but I cannot. Okay, and there's other people who look at him as an inspiration, and you probably don't know this, but there's Strava. And there's different biking groups and people watch and people talk. And just the things that we do here, we motivate each other in such a beautiful way that we don't even know. Okay. So again, I would love to hear your story. Okay. We're sitting here. You might think you're fast and you do long rides and then someone like they're faster, do longer rides than you. I've been to these amazing places in Chicago, out of the state, around the world. Like, wow, I didn't know that. So this is what we're all about in this network. Okay. We just feature amazing, awesome people. And let's get the ball rolling. So please introduce yourself and let's take it from there.
Hi, I'm Spencer Carran. As you said, we are on the same team, so we both ride with Evolution Cycling. I've also been out a couple mornings with you on Cortado rides.
That's right.
On the rare mornings that I can wake up early enough to get to Wilmette at 5-something in the morning. I started out riding just for transportation, just commuting around. I got into slightly longer distances to go to various brew pubs around central Pennsylvania when I lived back there. I got into bike touring a few years ago. I did Ragbri for the first time. Got really excited by touring and bike packing and, the possibility of sort of going long distances self-supported. So after Ragbri, I then did other cross-state tours with a couple of friends. I went across the Ohio to Erie Trail. So we did Cleveland to Cincinnati as a bike packing trip. They then drove back to Chicago. I biked the rest of the way home from Cincinnati across Indiana. I've done the Katy Trail across Missouri twice, done the adventure cycling Route 66 map from St. Louis up to Chicago at the end of the Katy Trail on one of those trips. Did Ragbri again.
Many Ragbris.
Only 2 so far. I skipped this year. So I was working on trying to cross off Midwestern states on bike packing trips. And then over the last year, I've gotten involved in some of the events that Chicago Random Nerds put on, which are usually one day, but very ultra distance rides. So those rides start at 200 kilometers. There's also 300, there's 400, there's 600. And most recently, I went out to Philadelphia for the Endless Mountains Liberty Bell 1, 2, 3, 4 kilometers. So a little over 1,200 K on that ride. And as the name implies, quite a lot of climbing. was just under 14 kilometers of elevation gain in 4 days. Every single one of those days was more climbing than I have ever done before on any day in my life. So stacked those all in a row. My knees felt great at the end of it.
Wow. Seems like you did some very exciting things. And as you can see, he's mainly into distance. So we're gonna get into all that stuff. All right. Let's back up. How are you doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So for people that want to get to know you, so where are you from originally?
I grew up in Ohio, sort of in between Cincinnati and Dayton. Never really rode as a kid, other than my dad would take me out to a local bike trail, and we'd ride back and forth, like short rides, like 5 or 10 miles at the most. I started biking for transportation in college, just because college kids can't afford cars.
Where did you go to college?
Down in Miami, Florida, University of Miami.
You went, wait. What year was this?
2008 through 2012.
So that means we must have passed.
Oh, were you in Miami too? When were you there?
Know that? I did my fellowship at University of Miami School of Medicine.
Oh, okay. I
was at the medical campus.
The medical campus is different, but I worked there for a semester.
Yeah. So you were all the way in Coral Gables.
Yeah, but when were you at the medical campus?
I was there from 2009 until 2018.
Okay. So 2009, I was working part-time in a lab at the medical campus.
Whose lab?
I forget. Like a friend of my cousin's.
Do you remember the name of the lab? What the building you were in? It was in Rosensteel?
No, it was not in Rosensteel, because that was the marine biology campus.
Oh, so you were at Erasmus campus in Key Biscayne by the Bearcroft Bridge.
It was off of the
causeway that goes into Key Biscayne, right? Is that the one of the marine lab? Was it close to the animal place where they have all the whales and fishes and dolphins and stuff?
I remember it was three train stops down from the Coral Gables campus.
No, I mean, no, you're at the medical campus. Yeah. So you're like where Jackson Memorial Hospital is in the area. Gotcha. Man, so we crossed paths before. I guarantee you.
We might have seen each other in the coffee shop.
either somewhere at Panera, or maybe, have you gone to Jackson Cafeteria before? You remember the Jackson Cafeteria?
I didn't ever go in there. I think I walked past it a few times.
And then they just made up this new stretch of place you can go and go buy a lunch. You can go upstairs and downstairs by the nice building where I think they had epidemiology in the building and all the new building.
Yeah, the new one.
And then they had the cancer center.
Right.
That was the kind of pink building. So I was in that building, and I was also in Rosensteel for quite some time.
Okay.
Wow, you're right. And then there's Boscombe Palmer, the Eye Institute, which is like right by the library.
Oh, you know what? I think that's where I was. I think I was in that Eye Institute building. Like in the basement of it or something.
That's in Boscombe Palmer building, right next to the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there at university. So man, life is so crazy and small. So I guarantee you, we must have crossed paths at some point, because when there's a parking garage and there's this nice walkway where people sit and have lunch sometimes outside.
Yeah.
Yep. So, wow. So what did you study in?
My undergrad was applied math and biology. And then after that, I went and did my PhD in, it technically says ecology, at Penn State. So
you have a doctorate?
Yes.
I did not know that. I have a doctorate too, in neuroscience.
Oh, excellent.
And yours is in applied.
It says ecology, but it's disease ecology. So it's basically epidemiology. I was studying measles vaccine policy.
Gotcha. And have you ever heard of the name Jennifer Hu from University of Miami? She was in epidemiology. No, cancer.
I didn't know.
Because I worked for her for a little bit. I did not know it. Okay, so what do you do now?
Now I am in food safety with the FDA. So my team is called Outbreak Analytics. There's a group within FDA that responds to every foodborne disease outbreak. Goes and tries to find, where did people buy a thing that they got sick after eating? What are the commonalities between that? Can we trace it back to who grew the thing that got them sick? who produced it, whatever. And then after that team does that and issues any recalls, whatever the immediate reaction is, then all of the data that were collected in the process make their way over to our team, and we look for sort of longer term patterns. So is there something that keeps cropping up that seems to cause E. coli in lettuce repetitively, or is there, what are the longer term patterns? And if we can identify those, can we therefore respond faster next time?
Gotcha. So is the government not affecting you now, or you're still?
Yes. So my direct team is on furlough, so we're not allowed to work right now. So we've got a bunch of projects that are just sort of paused until we get back.
Wow. So just put it past like 4 or 5 days, like no work, no nothing.
Yeah. So I'm just backing more.
I did not know you're Dr. Spencer. If I did ask this question, I would have no idea. And what was your thesis on?
So my dissertation was on optimizing vaccine distribution for measles, or mostly on that. And it was also had a little bit about Zika control.
Because when we were in Miami, Zika was a big thing back in the early 2010 to 2014, I think, 2015.
Zika came out later. I was already sort of 2/3 of the way through the doctorate by the time.
Gotcha. Because I remember, when I had my first kid in Miami and Zika came out about with the microcephaly and all the different things, right? And my in-laws were calling and she don't get bit by a mosquito, and I'm like, oh my god, it was just this big scared stuff that happened in Miami at the time, because I think there's some few cases of Zika in Miami.
Yeah, I think not a ton, but enough for people to be concerned. Obviously.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Fairchild's Botanical Garden in Miami? No.
There was a really nice botanical garden on campus at Coral Gables, and I was always slightly too slow. The botany grad students knew where the starfruit trees were, and so they would scavenge it before I would.
Man, I had no idea. I guarantee you, because in Miami, I must have either run past it, because I was mainly a runner in Miami. So I guarantee you I'd have run past you a few times. I've only been again to main campus maybe 8-10 times in 9 years, because I just never had to go there because the lab was in the medical campus. I've been to Key Biscayne, South Beach. I mean, I know all the places in Miami to go to. Do you have a favorite place to go have coffee? Like, do you have coffee con leche in Miami? Were you a big fan of that? And tostones.
I don't remember the name of the place, but there's that bike path along the train tracks. Along the train tracks. Mm-hmm. So if you follow that all the way out to the end, and it gets you to almost to the Rosenstiel Marine Biology campus. If you go a few blocks past Rosenstiel, there was some Cuban restaurant. I forget the name, but they didn't speak much English, and I didn't speak much Spanish, but enough overlap that I was able to get some very good bistec palomilla down out there.
So have you been to like Cayocho, the 8th Street?
Yes.
Of course, that's the place you have to go and see all the roosters and chicken walking around and all the cool stuff. Man, I did not know that. I'm just learning this. I'm getting like goosebumps of like thinking that we both were in Miami about the same time, but we never crossed paths or anything. And I didn't know that about you. So now you guys know. It's Dr. Spencer, guys. Please respect Dr. Spencer. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So you went from Ohio to Miami,
mm-hmm.
and then from Miami you came straight to Chicago.
No, from Miami I went to Penn State in State College, Pennsylvania. So sort of middle of the state.
So I got into Penn State for my PhD in the neuroscience program there, but I decided not to go.
It's probably a good choice.
Like I legit got into Penn State, and I decided I'm gonna go to UT Southwestern, because I was already in Dallas. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to UT Southwestern because I'm there, I know the people, blah blah. And I also got into like Baylor College of Medicine. I'm like, that's in Houston. I know people in Dallas, so I stayed in Dallas. But I know Penn State. I have many friends from Jamaica who actually went to Penn State for undergrad.
Really?
And all the cool stuff. So it's quite the connection. Then from Penn State, you came to?
Then I came to Chicago.
What year was that?
I moved to Chicago in 2018. I was doing a postdoc at the University of Chicago for a couple of years. I switched sides, and at while I was at UChicago, I was on the side of making disease spread faster instead of slower, because there's a something called the Douglas fir tussock moth, which every so many years its population explodes and it eats all of the needles off of Douglas fir, and then there's just acres and acres of dead trees. For various reasons, we don't like that. So forest fire hazard, all that type of stuff. So there's a virus that spreads and melts the caterpillars quite gruesomely. And the project I was working on there was trying to figure out, how to make that virus spread faster to kill off these caterpillars before they would eat too many trees.
Again, this is another parallel with you and I. this is great. But now you're studying how to basically stop and slow them down, right?
Yeah. Now I've come back to the side of stopping disease.
Okay, so this is my story, true story. So my PhD is in neuroscience.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in a field that was kind of stop cells from dying. Because I study Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, schizophrenia, Huntington. So in those diseases, you lose neurons.
Right.
And once you lose them, you don't really get them back. Unless there's, we can debate about neurogenesis and different things like that. And then as I train, I went to cancer field. So now I want to kill cells.
Right.
So this is kind of same as you, similar parallel. Spreading, not spreading. Want them to not die, don't want to kill them.
Well, if you know how the process works in one way,
then exactly.
Hopefully you know how to
reverse engineer.
Go it in the other way.
Wow, that's so cool, man. That's wow. Didn't know that. And here you are, come to show up at the bike ride with us, hanging out, so humble, doing your thing, and I had no idea about this. Wow. So I'm gonna find your LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn, right?
I have an account. I don't use it very actively, but yeah, I'm on there.
Gotcha. Guys, who had known? Maybe some people you talk to, but I didn't know this. Anyway, I show up and then it's all great. All right, this is another story. Anyway, so I'm trying to branch a little bit and doing more distance and everything. So I guess we must have done some rides together. You rode with my wife one time a couple of months ago, and then she started following on Strava. And every time she sees your ride, she's like, I'm like, oh, I rode like 100 miles today. But she's like, but did you see what Spencer do? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like a big fan of yours. Like I said this before the last time, she is truly a big fan. When she met you the first time I told her, he's like, that's Spencer. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I think you're riding every day, like 100 miles or 130 miles. And she was following you as you track along, and she thought it was one of the coolest thing ever. What was that ride again that you did?
The most recent was called the Endless Mountains. Although she might have been thinking of my trip from Kansas City to Chicago.
I think that's the one. You rode like 130 miles a day or whatever that was.
Yeah, so I took the Amtrak to Kansas City. I had to make a route from Kansas City down to the start of the Katy Trail, or near the start of the Katy Trail. It's like a little bit tricky getting out of Kansas City through the suburbs. I spent a while zooming in on Google Street View to see which of these roads looks least sketchy to get past the highway. But then then you get on the Katy Trail and it's great. It's a really beautiful, well-maintained rail trail with lots of amenities for cyclists along the way. So I've done it twice now. And this spring I did it relatively quickly and then came up the old Route 66 the rest of the way through Illinois.
And how long will it take you to do?
I think that took me 5 or 6 days.
And how many miles are we talking about? I know you say kilometers, but it's fine. Put in kilometers too. That's fine.
I want to say it was probably about 1,200, probably about 1,000 or 1,100 kilometers, something like that.
Wow. And that's like 5-6 days.
Yeah, and that was with all of my camping gear. It was on my heaviest bike. So you were talking about the weight of the bike that I brought today. The bike that I took was almost twice as heavy, and then also had 4 big panniers fully loaded with all of my camping gear. And this sort of
camp. So you never was in a hotel. You camp the entire time. You just find camping sites and stop.
Yeah, I did take a hotel or a motel one night, the last night, because I had set up my camping gear poorly the night before and everything was still soaked, and B, because I had paced things a little bit strangely, I was sort of in between reasonable places to camp, and so I sort of only had the option of go in this motel or illegally sit somewhere along the side of the freeway. and I decided to go for the motel there.
He didn't say that. Okay, he didn't say that.
Well, I didn't hide along the edge of the freeway. I went to the motel, so everything's fine.
That's cool. I wish. Again, this is why when my wife was watching you every day, you did like those miles, and she was like, "These what Spencer do to them?" I'm like, no. She's like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Can I do that? She's like, no. I'm like, come on, man, that's pretty cool. Wow, I'm still just impressed with all your adventures. So what got you into doing more longer rides versus doing like crits or road races or gravel? What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, I've never been particularly fast, and so uh, crits are certainly not for me. I mean, I'm just not fast enough. I don't accelerate quickly enough to keep up, and B, I'm a little bit more cautious of a rider than the average crit racer. I think I'm not interested in jockeying for position or elbowing people out of the way. I am extremely not interested in crashing.
Me too. Me too.
And so, crits are just not my thing. But I did always have plenty of stamina, and so when I was in central Pennsylvania, you leave campus, and in 5 minutes you're in just rolling Amish farm country, and you can just ride along forever. And I enjoyed doing that while I was a grad student out there. And then the 1 year that I did RAGBRAI, that sort of opened the idea of doing sort of these cross state tours that I've done since.
Gotcha. Wow, you've done a RAGBRAI, you said 2 times now.
Yes,
and you skipped it this year because you're doing other cool stuff. I know you talk about the Randonneurs, and that's with Sarah. Right?
Yeah, Sarah Rice is the RBA, which means that she sort of does all of our paperwork for the national organization for us.
Wow. So guys, we have there's ultra runners, he's an ultra cyclist. And every time I see Spencer out there riding, his bike look like it's always equipped for him to just like take off, and he can just have everything on his bike. Like every time I see him, you have like almost all the figures on any bike I've seen you with, even on the Evolution. And I'm like, I think you can decide, I'm not going home. I'm going to camp in the bushes, and I have all my gears with me right there and then, right?
Yeah, the frame bag is like a little bit fiddly to take on and off, so I just leave it on all the time. And so there are just a lot of snacks in there.
Okay, so if you guys are ever in a ride, you get hungry, see this guy's bike, just go lick a little beer, just do claw out his bag, and you'll find some good stuff in it. What do you typically have in the bag?
I always have some gels, some gummies. Sometimes I have like
gummies or like regular gummies?
Regular sugar gummies that cyclists use. No, federal employees aren't allowed to have the other kind of gummies.
Okay.
No matter what state we live in. Sometimes I'll have like some protein bars or something else in there, just to break up the monotony of only sugar all the time, which does eventually start to make you feel a little bit sick.
Gotcha. How many bikes do you have?
I have right now 4 bikes. So I've got the yellow Fixie that I came here on. That's sort of my general commuter bike. I've got a Fuji touring bike, which I use for my cross-state bike camping trips. It's extremely heavy, but it's got everything on it. It's got full fenders. It's got front and rear racks. It's got dynamo lighting. It's got a double heavy-duty kickstand so that I can just set it up, and it doesn't matter that it's fully loaded. That thing's like 45 kilos. It's a little bit excessive. It's slow, but it gets me there, and it never leaves me stranded. I also have my old Schwinn road bike. It's a 1987 Schwinn Prologue. They only made those for a couple years. It's sort of like as good as performance steel road bikes ever got before the industry moved to other materials.
Gotcha.
And I mean, that's my road bike, and it also has been my on and off project bike as I was sort of learning to be a bike mechanic. I took it to the recycleries class and took it apart, put it back together again. I've rebuilt it a couple times, so now I've updated it to relatively modern Shimano 105 11 speed. Came to me as a 7 speed. with the down tube shifters, and now it's got the integrated shifters, which are a lot easier to use.
Is it DI2 or is it just mechanical?
Mechanical,
Gotcha.
because it's still rim brake, and the only DI2 rim brake group has like that external battery, so I'd have to drill out the frame, and I'm not quite going to do that.
Yeah, I know somebody who have drilled this frame to fit a battery in. So yeah, DI2.
Yeah, I'm not quite going to do that just because it's a relatively rare frame, and I don't want to break it.
Fair enough. That was 3. So there's one more.
Yes, so I also have my gravel bike, which I got this spring. It's a Fairlight. I really enjoy it. I've taken it on not very much gravel so far, but I've used it for most of my randonneuring because it's just the most comfortable bike I have ever been on. That's also got dynamo lighting, which is great for randonneuring because if I go for 600 kilometers at once, I can keep my phone charged. I can top up my power bank, everything else.
Is that the bike with the light that runs itself, basically?
Yeah.
And I met the guy who introduced you to those lights. What's his name again?
Bradley.
Bradley. Yeah.
That's a different setup. So that's the one that he has on his single speed, and I have on my road bike. Those are like little magnetic ones that go on the brake pads. And as long as you have alloy wheels and not carbon, they'll spin and they'll make a little light.
Mm-hmm.
The gravel bike has a hub dynamo, which is more drag but also produces more power. So that's able to power bigger lights and also a charger. So I have like a USB charging port that comes out of it that I'm able to.
Wow! So you see your bike charge itself as it goes along. It just does everything.
Yeah.
Man, that's what I need to start doing some of these bikes because it's so annoying to keep on charging lights and changing this and every couple of days because I have this running itself.
Yeah, and I mean I've had so many times when I've been out and I'm like, oh crap, my light is out of batteries, and now I have to. I've had a few times where I'm sort of stranded out and it's like, okay, I guess I'll take a bus home because I don't want to ride home without a light. Or I started carrying just 2 lights all the time and swapping them out when the battery died. But even that, you still have to remember to charge them.
Wow! That is so cool. So, any big plans for this year? Or I mean, the year is almost finished anyway. Almost 2 months to go. Is there any more cool rides you have come planned? I mean, it's gonna get pretty cold pretty soon.
Oh, the cold doesn't bother me.
You haven't heard my slogan? I'm Jamaican. I'm made for the heat, not for sleet.
Oh.
So yeah, no.
Oh, we've got the Evolution Taco ride and the beer ride coming up.
I think those are not too bad. Maybe hopefully in the 50s, maybe 60s I can do.
Yeah. The Chicago Randonneurs official schedule is over in terms of like the organized official rides, but the club has access to a library of what are called permanent routes, which are you can just go ride them anytime that you want, and as long as you fill out a little bit of paperwork with RUSA, just like the National Randonneuring Group, you can still get some credit for it. So a few of us are probably going to go this weekend and redo the Chicago Dunelands Chicago route that we did earlier this summer. That's from here to I forget where in Michigan, somewhere in Michigan, somewhere along the lake and back. It's about a little over 300K.
Wow. So 100K. So 100K is like 63 miles. So 300, that's 180 miles.
Yeah, and I mean it starts from downtown. So when you add in getting to the start point, it's about 200 miles for me.
Which that's on Saturday or Sunday?
I think we're going to do it Saturday.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, I can't do that because I'll be doing the Chicago Marathon bike marshalling. So I really would love to do a 4-state ride one of these years, ride from here up to Wisconsin and back to Indiana, then go to Michigan and then come back home. That's to be about a 180 miles bike ride. I'm thinking about doing that one of these years. Well, I did a triplex ride. That was pretty awesome.
Well, we do in Chicago Randonneurs fairly early in the season, I think, usually have the Tri-State Challenge, which is to Wisconsin and Indiana borders.
You guys take the lake, or you guys go west and come up, or you just go lake to lake? Stay in the lake all the way up and back?
Pretty much stay along the lake, Lakefront Trail down to Wolf Lake,
mm-hmm.
And then.
But Wolf Lake is deep in Indiana, though.
No, that's the border.
Because we went to Calmet Park
Yeah.
and went down a little bit, and then that was the borderline was like state line was right there,
Yeah.
and then we came back up. So we didn't go all the way to Wolf Lake.
Oh, yeah. So you can be a little bit east. Yeah. Yeah. You can hop into Calumet. Yeah,
We didn't even go to Whiting because we were like still they didn't just we went to a parking lot of some sort, and then they're like, well, this is it right here. We made the board, and we went all up to like to Russell Road.
Mm-hmm.
I know when you're on Russell Road, if you're in the north side, you're in Wisconsin. If you're in the south side, you're actually in Illinois. That was pretty cool.
Right.
So you have some, yes, for sure. The taco ride is coming up. The beer ride is coming up, and you have some running earring stuff. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So you mentioned that you use the Zoom stuff to plan your routes. Have you ever used Strava to plan a route?
I do sometimes, but I find that I always have to double check Strava's heat maps.
Gotcha. Because I did it one time where I rode from Chicago to meet my family at camping, and I did Strava. I said, this is my home address, and this is where I want to go, and it put you on like the most direct route,
mm-hmm.
the most famous route. So the most direct route would have been like about 130 miles, but the most famous route was like 170 miles.
Oh, wow.
So I took the 170 mile route because I didn't want to be riding and all of a sudden I'm on a highway somewhere or some sketchy street. I'm like, no. Plus I didn't want any gravel. So you can exclude all those things when you plan it on Strava. So I don't know if you want to maybe try that one day, see if it might help.
Yeah. I mean, so like when I'm planning long trips, like bike camping, I sometimes will avoid the Strava heat map because that often is where sort of like local roadie groups are going, and what is appropriate and comfortable, as a roadie going fast, and what's appropriate at the speed that I can do on my loaded touring bike are not always the same. Right? Like I wouldn't take my touring bike with all of the gear down like Church Street through Skokie, because that's a little bit too fast for that. But when we ride it in Evolution, it's fine because we're going quicker.
Gotcha.
And we're not as much in the way.
Yeah, fair enough. Avoid all the stuff. You got to make the ride as safe as possible for yourself. Yeah. So that actually makes sense. But yeah, that day was just me and my thoughts. And so when you do some of these rides, like there was yours by yourself, or you were with friends. Like running here and probably as a group, but like the rides you did, those are in a group.
Some of them. So Hardy Erie Trail, I did with a couple of friends who had also done Ragbri the year before. Katy Trail, I did solo, but I actually randomly ran into a couple of Chicago friends along the way. We got lunch together. The Randonneuring is mixed. We all start together, but no one is really like obligated to ride together unless you are sort of naturally at the same pace. So people tend to spread out over the course of the day. The most recent Chicago Rando event, the Bull Valley Run that we did last weekend, I stayed with a group of about 5 of us the whole day. That was a nice time just to ride with a group the whole 200K.
So when you guys on this ride, what do you guys do? Like when you guys stop, like do you guys go to a taco shop, go to a brewery? What do you guys do?
The classic for Chicago Randonneuring is to stop at a Casey's and inhale some junk food and proceed on the way. For Bull Valley, on our way back through Libertyville, we usually stop at the Culver's.
Culver's, I have the best mushroom burger I've ever had in my entire life.
I had the mushroom burger there. It was good.
It's pretty awesome, especially when you're like riding here is hungry. Oh my God, it's the best thing. I used to ride with a group. We used to ride from here up to the Culver's up in Wisconsin by what's that street called? It was like little north of Russell by the highway. There's a Culver's there, and we used to go get ice cream.
Oh.
It was like ice cream ride. So we ride all the way up all the way to that just to get ice cream and then come back to Chicago. That was the fun days. Wow. So yeah, so nothing to create and all the different things. So what's the motivation that let you decide? As you mentioned before, you're more built for endurance stuff. But what's the motivation? Like just like to push yourself?
Yeah, just like to keep testing the limits, see how far I can go.
Yeah. So if somebody want to start, okay, I want to get into start doing some more distance riding. What are some of your recommendations for someone like that? Like from equipment wise to what would you need?
Yeah, I mean, so it's always a matter of building up from wherever you are. At one point, 10 miles was a long ride for me. And, wherever someone is, if you want to build more distance, you just pick a route that feels challenging and do it several times until it starts to feel a little bit more routine, and then see if you can extend it a little bit. Like a really good option for that around here is the McRory Trail. You can just keep going a little bit further north. Eventually, you can get all the way to Kenosha. And another nice thing about it is that it's along the metro line. And so if you ever overextend yourself a little bit and realize that you don't have enough gas left to get home, you can just hop on the train. And there's also food along the way. There's plenty of places to stop.
Gotcha. And what about equipment?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have a bike that's comfortable, that fits. I've actually never had a professional bike fit. I've just sort of done my own trial and error. And
you took the scientific approach.
Sure, we can pretend that it's scientific.
Because I guess you move things around. It's like, oh, that don't feel so right. Okay, let me try this. And then over time, you do trial and error and figure out what works.
Yeah. And so I've settled on Brooks saddles on most of my bikes. I got one and it was comfortable, and then I got them for my other bikes. All of my bikes are different sizes. All of them fit differently, but they're all reasonably comfortable.
What size? Well, you're like a 56? 50?
Yeah, 56 is probably what I should be on. That's what my gravel bike is, and that's the one that's most comfortable. So it's probably right.
So yes, your bikes are smaller than 56 or bigger?
Yes.
Wow.
So my touring bike is a 54. It's definitely too small for me. I've got the seat post maxed out. But it's okay. I can make it work.
You can make it work. Gotcha.
And my Fixie, which is my least comfortable bike, as I discovered when I did Chicago Duneland Chicago on it. 200 miles on a bike that also doesn't quite fit. It's a little bit too big for me. It's like 57 or 58. And also just very old school 70s frame, some dated components on it. Very uncomfortable brake levers to hold.
Gotcha. But you make it work. And you figured out all these things over time. Your biking, your equipment. So you need to have something. Because I have this Poseidon, and it's not here. It's at my in-laws' house because my sons actually built a gravel bike, and I built it but never use it. So it has a bunch of little attachments. That bike could probably hold 10 water bottles. There's like on the sides here, on the down tube, the seat. There's like things everywhere. This bike is probably built to able, I don't know, travel about 200 pounds on it. It's nice. The bike is a beast, but I don't have it here because I don't think, maybe if I decide to do some long distance like you, I might get on the bike. But I mean, when I rode that 170 miles, I used this bike and it was fine with some 32s. It was the perfect bike to ride across. And it's not a Madone, by the way, it's Madone. It says Madone, not Madone. Oh. Okay. It's a planer. This is a Madone. This is a Madone. It says Madone. This is the Tanton X34 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But this is actually true. This is legit. This is like a open mold bike I got from Patrick, and we built it together. So
I mean, if it's something that you've ridden on before and you're comfortable on.
No. All my bikes, I'm very comfortable on them, and I move things. It seems like you have never gotten a bike fit. Knock on wood, I've never gotten like any saddle sore and stuff because I move things around and until it feels what works for me. If something's painful, then I'm like, yeah, this is not right. Upper lower the seat, move the seat backwards, forward, and I think so far I'm pretty efficient at what I do on the bike. So yeah.
I mean, my touring bike I bought from a shop somewhere up in Highland Park, and I rode it home, and sort of halfway through that ride realized I don't like the saddle. And so I got home and I took the saddle off.
Of course, yeah.
And put a Brooks saddle on it, and I've been happy ever since. But I've never been uncomfortable on a bike for long enough to injure myself. Which is
good. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Yeah, this is awesome. So, do you ever do like trainer, like indoor trainer? Do you have Wahoo or?
I I got a smart trainer last winter, and I used Zwift for a while. I mean, so like, it's nice to have the option if it's pouring rain and sleet outside, and I can see how like the structured training plans could be really helpful, and it would be a much more efficient way to improve on the bike than what I do, which is just go outside and ride. But I just hate it so much. Just like sitting there in my living room in a completely static position, staring at that little cartoon screen. I just hate it. I would rather be cold. I'll put on an extra wool layer. I'll put on some nice gloves, and I would rather just be outside.
Gotcha. Hey, I did the outside thing with Cortado, and I'm like, I've had enough. And I'm like, no more. I have heated glove, heated sock, heated vest, heated everything.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I bought it all.
Then you really have a lot of batteries to charge.
Oh, exactly. But everything I'll charge it the night before, and I prep my stuff. But I'm like, what's the point of putting all these clothes go there? And even sometimes it's so cold that your fingers still get, frozen a little bit. I come home and my cheeks are frozen, and then my Jamaican accent really comes out. I'm talking to my kids and my wife, and they're like, what is it? I'm like, I'm speaking English. I'm like, because my face is frozen. I'm like, it's not worth it. So to go put on all this stuff to go by 18 miles an hour, I'm like, nah. So anyway, so I decided, I'm going to do Zwift. So this right here.
You've got like a dedicated setup over here.
Always ready to go. I just need to turn the TV on and the Apple TV and jump on the bike, and I'm good to go.
So does that bike live on the trainer forever?
It lives on the trainer. That don't come off. And you see, it's a play on a famous bike brand. It says S-Twerks.
Yeah.
Not a S-Works. So either this bike or that bike is on the trainer. My son uses bike at times because it's about my height, so he can use whenever he wants. But yeah, that's my dedicated setup. Like 2 minutes, I'm up and running on that bike. Nice. And my longest was like over 6 hours sitting there.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I wanted to do the full London PRL, which is like 109 miles, something like that, with like about, I think, 8,000 feet of climbing. So I want to do all the badges and Zwifts, all the courses. So I've done like, there's some new courses now, but I've done like all the old courses on Zwift. Every single one I've done by myself, or I tell people, hey, come on, join me. We can go riding and stuff. So yeah, but that's what I do now. Cold. I've done it. I did it, man. I used to ride to Highland Park and go to the Starbucks, have coffee, and then go underground as a parking lot. My friends would come out, and I'm like, I'm good now. No more. I'll stay inside. And the rule is, as I always said, I stay inside, and my wife can never say I left home. I'm here.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, technically, if you need to help out with the kids, you can hop off of Zwift more easily than you can come back from Highland Park.
Exactly. So, do you follow like professional racing? Not really.
A little bit, on and off. Not as closely as some people on the team, I think.
So what's the top guy in the world now? Do you know his name?
I mean, Tadej Pogačar wins everything. Just about, right?
Yep.
Didn't he win something this week?
European Championship, second time, and it was so funny because I was watching that, and well, the race before that one was when I think Isaac was going with him, and they're like, oh, Isaac is the next big thing that's going to challenge Tadej Pogačar. Like 5 miles later, Tadej Pogačar dropped this guy, and I'm like, oh my god, you should have just waited before you posted to write this article because he got dropped so bad. Oh. And then same thing happened to Remco.
Right.
And they're like, Remco is keeping up. Popped. This guy is like next level.
Yeah. It's always interesting to see him ride in any of these races, and that everyone else there is top 0.01% of the world best professional riders, and then he just makes them look like they're me.
Yeah. And again, I was talking to Henry, and Henry was like, man, like because I don't know if you know Henry, like, he used to be with 606, but he moved back to Colorado. And that guy was like, I was doing like 18, 25 hours a week on the bike. And he says, I want to get like another 2-3%. And he said, I just couldn't achieve it. And this guy in Chicago is probably one of the fastest guys I've ever ridden with before. Skinny little thing, so fast, like a machine. And he says, that 2% could not get it to go crazy level like those guys. Right. Oh my God. So Tadej Pogačar is like literally like, yeah, he's our modern day anomaly. He's like the Usain Bolt of cycling. Right?
Yeah, he's something weird.
Yeah,
about him.
because nobody expected Usain Bolt to be an amazing sprinter. Guy's 6'5". Sprinters typically are shorter, like 5'8", 5'10".
Right.
Usain Bolt is 6'5". Is 6'5", and that's an amazing sprinter. Anyway, there's all these anomalies that we see in life, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. So, what's one of your favorite places to ride in Chicago? Do you have one? Let's say if you have one.
I really enjoy riding through Skokie Lagoons because it's a pretty nice open stretch. There's enough visibility and low enough traffic that you can kind of put down a solid effort for a while and not be like as worried with obstacle avoidance.
Yeah, other than Tower, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
Willow to Dundee,
and that even Tower, that's one stop sign, and you can see in every direction for quite a while. And so I've really never had a time where I had conflict at that intersection of like someone running a stop sign into me or me running a stop sign without realizing that there was traffic coming the other way. It's never been a problem.
Yeah. He don't run stop sign, by the way. He stops and then he goes. Just so you guys. Always. Me too. Always. No, but you're correct. I really, every time I take Nicole for a bike ride, I always try to take her to Skokie Lagoons. Plus, if you're lucky, you get to see the deers and stuff.
Oh yeah, lots of deer there.
He's like, this is pretty cool. So I agree. Also, like the bunny trail.
Oh yeah.
From Lake Cook all the way from Lake Cook to 176, that nice little stretch there, I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Cortado comes through there fairly often, I think.
Yes, on the Mondays.
Yeah.
So Monday and Friday ride is similar, very chill pace. Other days, not so much.
Yeah, I went with them yesterday, and they started to pick it up a little bit halfway through.
They were the same one on Monday. Yes, it was. Oh yeah, I didn't ride them yesterday. I don't, because on the weekends I do like crazy long miles, and I need to rest.
Right.
And my effort is like crazy because on Saturday like 100 miles. That was fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the beautiful taco ride.
Where'd you go on Saturday?
Oh, to the border.
Oh, that was the Wisconsin ride.
Yeah. So okay. I went to the border, Wisconsin ride, and come back, and then that was 100 though. But we went pretty solid. I did a lot of pulling too, so I was dead.
I was doing a lot of pulling on Saturday because I was with that group, and it was some newer randonneurs, including one guy who was going to be his first ever randonneuring event. And we were trying to keep the group together, but I also had a goal of getting us all back to Evanston, back to the start point before sunset. And so, in order for that to happen, I kind of had to
step up,
had to pull a little bit more than usual.
Gotcha. So, and this is something that's very important to going up to a biking group and help with the pulling and the leadership. Sometimes you just have to step up, and that's the way you got to do, right? And which is awesome. That's why we're all here and why we make Chicago. Because I've gone on a touring ride, and I'm like, look at Spencer at the front doing his thing. I've seen a couple of times, and when I went to the touring ride for the first time, and you're up there like pulling, I'm like, oh, that's pretty awesome, doing your thing. Yeah. So. And then now we're in Evolution, and Evolution is another beast.
It's a very different type of riding, and I pull less on Evolution because I just have a lower top speed than the average at Evolution.
No, again, man, I've been at Evolution since they were Johnny Sprocket. Mm-hmm. So I was there from the beginning until they transferred. And like those guys left, they're like family. I've seen many people come and elevated other bike clubs because they wanted more. They want to go fast. They want to do more serious stuff. But the core guys are still here. Tim and all those guys are still. Sandeep still hanging around. And even you have met Sean Scott, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He's just like a diehard one. He's like family too. He's up north, but when he comes back, we hang out and do our thing. So that's what keep us all happy and going. Yeah. So I mean. Again, I didn't know this about you. I had no idea you had a PhD and did all the cool stuff you did. You're mainly like more ultra riding, doing cool stuff going across the US and states and all the cool stuff, which again is big motivation because one day I want to do stuff like this. When I get a little bit, I guess my kids are coming home and I can hear them coming in. Mm-hmm. So it'd be pretty awesome if one day I can actually get to do more distance riding with my wife and The kids are older. Now you need to become an empty nester. So no kids, right? That's why you can.
That's right. Yeah. Randonarian tends to be people without kids or retirees whose kids are grown up. So there's that wide split in the Randonarian community that I right alongside a lot of 65, 70-year-old men who somehow are still out there, putting out bigger miles than I put out.
Hey, if he keeps it going, you gotta just do it, and have fun while doing it, right? I mean, that's one of the main things. So one more thing. So I mean, you do more distance riding and stuff, and you've been here for 18 years since 2018 riding. Do you find any challenges, obstacles in Chicago as a cyclist?
Yeah, I mean, you encounter some number of aggressive drivers as you're riding in Chicago. You also encounter a lot of sort of inattentive drivers staring at their cell phones, not really paying attention when they drift in and out of the lane. But honestly, I feel like, we tend to remember those negative interactions and like they stick out in our memories. But most of the time riding around in Chicago is actually like relatively fine. I've been like slightly bumped into once in Hyde Park, like 5 or 6 years ago. And other than that, I've put in a lot of miles, ridden through every single neighborhood in Chicago, and it's usually fine. Especially once you sort of learn what roads you can take and what roads are a little bit less busy, what intersections tend to have a little bit more conflict.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like Chicago is a pretty good place to bike for transportation. I mean, it's flat. We don't get that much snow ever. I feel like there's like 2 or 3 days a year where there's like enough snow that it's a problem. Or at least like enough snow that doesn't get cleared.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And, it's also been pretty drastically and quickly improving in just the last few years. They've been upgrading the bike infrastructure all over.
Yeah, I mean, I just realized based on what Steve Offner, which is a friend of ours I featured before, who have ridden basically all the streets in Chicago. And if he's Wonder, and if you heard about Wonder, and he did all the streets in Chicago, which is pretty amazingly crazy. Wow.
Wait, so does that mean that they also did like all the way down Western at some point?
Every street.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't go that far personally, but more power to them.
He said some of the craziest thing he's ever seen was basically getting chased by a dog.
I've had that dozens of times.
People have always is very welcome to all the difference. I said the worst thing is happening is chased by dogs. Like people are cool, no problem, no nothing, and to a point where people actually know who he is. Like in some Southside Chicago, like, oh my God, he says that Southside Chicago, no problem. He's done all this. Any road you have driven on, ridden on in Chicago, Steve has done that road. Pick some random little street, he's been on it. It's pretty cool.
If you've ever run into Ben O'Malley.
Yes.
Yeah, so he organizes the Tour de Chai.
I want to do it this year, but I missed that.
I missed it this year because I was doing a randonarian thing, but I did it last year, the first year. It was a great time, and we went through every neighborhood in Chicago in one day, and the whole time that we were going through South and West Sides, like random people along the streets would just start cheering for us.
Exactly,
and there wasn't anything to indicate that we were like part of an event. It was just like about a dozen cyclists going through. And
you talk about that. This is something I found very amazing too. So I went down south and I rode with Misfits and went down south to some, I forgot the name of the park we went to. I went to some neighborhoods and like people were like waving and clapping and I'm like, what? I didn't expect this.
Right.
And there's like bike lanes and there's bike lanes everywhere down that side too.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect. That was really like a really out of body experience. Other than seeing that there was like a church every 2-3 blocks.
Yes, there are a lot.
There are a lot of churches down Southside. Like every 2-3 blocks is a church.
Sometimes 3 on the same block.
Mind blowing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, one more thing. So if you should put like one of your biking experience, and you're like, man, this was just one of my best biking experience of all time. If you remember that, what would that experience be? That was just like, wow.
Um, I might say the Aurora City of Lights ride, which was something with Chicago Randomers earlier this year. It was my first 400-kilometer ride. So up to that point, it was my biggest ride. And there was a group of people who were trying for something called an R60 on it, which is in Random Rain, there's a flat time limit for like elapsed time to do a ride. And it's up to you if you want to go fast and take breaks or go slow and not take breaks, as long as you finish it within the elapsed time. And R60 is sort of a challenge of, can you finish this ride within 60% of the elapsed time limit? So that means go fast and don't take breaks. There was a group of really strong riders who were aiming for that, and I rode along behind them for about the first half of the ride, until I cracked and fell off the back and slowed down and didn't make the R60 cutoff that the rest of them did. But we were going through some really nice country roads in central Illinois, south of Aurora, and just being pulled along behind these much stronger riders. And they pulled me to beating my Century PR by over an hour.
Wow.
And then pulled me along to my best 180K time, again by over an hour. And then shortly after that, I cracked and had to had to pull back. But it was nice to go quite fast behind this group for 6 or so hours. Beautiful scenery, calm roads.
Nice. That sounds epic for real. Until you got your ripcord pull, as they say.
And then I slowed down and finished the rest of the ride at my own pace. It was still a fun time.
Awesome. Yeah. So anything. So you've been riding like this maybe for what since 2018. That's when you started doing more distance riding. So about 7-8 years.
Actually, while I was at UChicago, I sort of basically stopped riding, other than like my commute to work, which was just up and down Woodlawn, like a 10-minute ride. Because I just, for a while, I didn't know where the good cycling routes in Chicago were. I got on the Lakefront Trail and quickly realized that it wasn't a place for like sort of serious fast riding. Because there's pedestrians, there's dogs, there's
skateboards.
Yeah. So you have to be mindful of that, and so you can't go full speed there. And I didn't know where the good road routes were in Chicago. And I was busy as a postdoc, scrambling with all of that work. And so I just sort of stopped riding for a couple years. And then when I moved up to the north side, I found Windy City Cycling Club, rode with them for a little while. And then I found Evolution Cycling, and got back into big riding from there.
Okay, so here's a challenge for you. I think in Evolution Cycling, you need to start, because there's all these different channels.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a channel called Evolution Ultras. So you can be the head of because there might be some other guys who want to do like long rides, but you never know. So that's your thing.
All right.
Evolution Ultra. Yeah. So you can, again, start a group, and I might join you in some of your rides. I just need a good heads up, maybe during the week. And if the government lockdown stay like this, maybe I could join in some of these rides. I hope things get back to normal at some time in point. But yeah. And as I post the group, man, like on Sunday at the ride, buying those tacos for $2, it was so refreshing.
Oh, that was
nice. I moved to Chicago, 18. I was paying $2.50 for a taco. Now the same place sell tacos of like $4.50 for the same exact taco. So paying $2 for a taco on Sunday was like, oh, this felt great.
So you also moved to Chicago in 2018?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So we have overlapped quite a bit.
It's like I didn't know this. I came here in June 11th, 2000. I started working June 11th, 2018, but I moved like in May.
Okay.
And I've been in the same building, but different department, because we went to a bigger unit. As a family, got bigger room to a bigger unit. But yeah, man, so Miami. Have you been to Jamaica before?
I have not.
Okay, that's where I'm from. I'm just checking. I'm like, that would be crazy if you would say you're like, I went to Portland. I'm like, wait a minute, that's where I'm from in Jamaica, from Portland. So, And have you ever ridden bike any road riding outside of the US, or mainly not yet?
I have not. At some point, I'll probably do some Canadian rides, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've seen that everybody go to Mallorca. That's where everybody go to. So there's a bunch of people who seem that's the place everybody goes to ride. that's the place. And I think Trek Travel does some riding too. You can take your thing, and so check it out. I wish I could be like you and go do all these long rides, but family.
Of course, the Chicago Runner Nerds are advocating for as many people as possible to go do Paris Press Paris, which is in 2027. But we'll see if I feel like dealing with the plane and the logistics and all of that.
But so you have to plan. They don't plan for you. You have to do it yourself.
You have to do it yourself, and you have to do a whole new series of qualifying rides. But I'm gonna do long rides anyway. So
got you. Wow, it's pretty awesome. So guys, we have learned about Spencer. What's your last name?
Carran.
Correct. Dr. Carran. Dr. Spencer Carran. Okay. You have seen him and I've seen him, and I did not know about all the things about you. That we're basically in the same state, many different places, and didn't know that. We both were at the University of Miami at the same overlapping time and did not know that. The world is small. If you're in, whether you're athletic or in academics and different things, the world is pretty small. And if I didn't talk to you, I would have not known this about you. Most people would not know about you. So now when people see them like, hey, that's Dr. Spencer, okay? Just don't, because you see him on his bike doing his thing. This guy is smart, very intelligent, and I can sense that. So again, guys, we have someone like Spencer in the network. I met him at through Evolution, and then I've been to touring ride. I've seen him in touring. I'm seeing him lead groups. I'm seeing him try to get people together. As again, my wife is a big groupie of yours, because she's always impressed by your rides. Like literally every day you do a crazy ride to her, which is normal to you. She's like, "Do you see what Spencer do?" And I'm serious. So you inspire her.
That's good to hear.
You keep her biking. She's a cyclist and all different things, but trust me, you should hear her conversations. I'm like, calm down, chill, all right? But yes, if you see Spencer on the road, please don't be a stranger. He's your network, and he's one of the people, and one of the many people we have spoken to and learned about on this channel, because we are what makes Chicago work as a community. Again, we help each other. We hang out at each other's backyards. We go to have tacos together. We go on brewery rides together. We drop each other. All sorts of different things, okay? But this is the beauty about cycling. And, again, you don't have to be a quick racer or try to go fast. I mean, Spencer does his thing, and he just loves what he do. And he rides 2,000 miles in 5 minutes, and that's what he does.
Not quite that fast.
But he enjoys it. And this is a beautiful thing about what I do, because I really love biking. I love it. I'm not a racer, but I love to ride my bike. I love to meet new people. And this is just a beautiful thing. Again, as I would say, anybody, you're all welcome to come and sit down and talk to me. Again, we have some really amazing people, more amazing people in the lineup, and you guys will see them. And Spencer is one of them. Dr. Spencer is one of them. And man, I can't, see how we're going to grow and learn about people in Chicago, different groups. Again, cyclocross season is up on us right now. Do you do cyclocross?
I do not. I'm too clumsy for it.
He said, I didn't say it, okay? But again, we have all this stuff in Chicago going on right now. We go from summer season, indoor season, cyclocross season, crit roads, all different things. And we have the running areas, which again, by the way, for people who don't know what running areas are, could you explain what that exactly is actually? Because Sarah did it before, but tell people what it is.
Yeah, so randonneuring is self-supported ultra distance cycling. So, many people around here are familiar with the North Shore Century, where you go into this organized ride, and every so many miles there's a rest stop where they have water refill, they have snacks, they have mechanics if you have any problems with your bike. Randonneuring is very much, here's the route, go. If you have a mechanical problem with your bike, you had better know how to fix it yourself along the side of the road. If you run out of snacks, there might be a gas station along the way where you can buy some gummy bears. And then
Sarah mentioned there's no sponsored allowed, right? As you said, in the running area, there's no sponsored allowed or something like that.
If Sarah said so, I believe it.
I might have misspoken, but she said that they don't allow like sponsors and stuff or something like that around the area.
I mean, it's very much sort of an individualistic, like self-sufficient type of thing. So yeah, it's sort of expected that you
Do yourself.
you provide for yourself along the way.
And I just remember this. So you've heard about the Michigan Challenge.
Yes.
Are you thinking about doing that?
I am thinking about doing the route as a bike camping tour, which a couple of friends of mine have done. I am less interested in doing it as a race, which Sarah has done and has put up, unbelievable times on it twice now. I've discovered over the past month that I don't do amazing with sleep deprivation on the bike, so I'm not interested as much in doing it as a race. In a competitive way, I like. The other part of randonneuring is that it is non-competitive ultra distance cycling. So the only thing that matters is finishing within the time limit. You finish or you do not finish, and there's no extra points for being the fastest.
Gotcha. I think about don't like bike racing, so I keep on forgetting to ask people this question. Do you know when they invented bike racing?
Probably shortly after they invented bikes.
Yes, but the answer is once they made a second bike.
Right.
When second bike was made, it was a race. Because any group that you're in, even if it's not racing, it's racing. It's
Yeah, everyone wants to be the fastest.
Yes. All right, this is awesome, guys. We learned about Dr. Spencer, and thank you guys. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm happy that you came out. And as we come to a close, as I said, as we go along, keep the miles and smiles going.